Yeah, I don't ever remember feeling like this. But I'm out here in these YouTube streets. So I want you to get your fingers.
I don't know what you're doing.
I want you to
right
get
now,
your mouse.
I want you to check me out.
And I want you to check me out.
Get ready to do this. It's the relationship rehab. Like, share, and subscribe. We coming at you live. So come on, let's take a ride. Then subscribe to United Guns of America. Just click that link and listen up to what I'm telling you. It's the relationship.
Click that link right now. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Brian Redmond, and I just want y'all to subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? I want you to let me know what you think. I'ma talk about some things, you can talk about some things, and we can do our thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all about having a conversation, right? I mean, if we can't talk to each other, then, I mean, what are we really here for? I want y'all to be able to just come over to my channel, talk to me about what's going on with you, and I can tell you what's going on with me, and we can build some things, you know what I'm saying? That's all about growth, baby. So click that link, go ahead and swipe on your phone, whatever you gotta do. Share my content. It's just get me out here, baby. Cause we just talking, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I like doing what I'm doing because it's about the people. It's about us having a conversation with each other. It's about us discussing whatever needs to be discussed. And on these YouTube streets, this is the best place to do it, baby. Like, share, and subscribe. That's right. Click the link. Click the link. Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's out here that's already subscribed. You know what I'm saying? Cause y'all ain't the first one, and y'all ain't the last one. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody that click the link, that click the share, and then subscribe to your boy. Cause we gon' blow this thing together, baby. Relationship rehabbing, United Guns of America. To the world, blow up, baby. Yeah. Click the link, baby. Click the link, baby. Yeah. Hey, I just want to send a shout out to all y'all. I love y'all. That's why I do this. It's for the love of us, baby. I appreciate all of y'all. Ooh, we gon' do this thing. We gon' do this thing right here, baby. Hey, look, if you at a computer right now, just go ahead and click your link. What else you got to lose, baby? Tell me what you think. Hit the comment section. You can jump on the live panel. We do it all here. That's what it's all about. So come holler at your boy. I've been doing this for years, but I just got onto this YouTube thing. So hey, let's see what it do and where it can go.
To United Guns of America. Just click the link and listen up to what I'm telling you, telling you.
All right, can you hear me now? Y'all should be able to hear me now. I have my yes, no, maybe so. You can hear me, can you hear me? There we go. Yeah, I you know, when I play I play Call of Duty online, so when I'm playing that game, I have it going through my headphones, these guys. So sometimes the source gets switched up when I try to put my when I do my show. So it's a different software, so it does that. So my apologies. But I want to start all over and say, hey, welcome to another episode of the Relationship Rehab. I am your host, Brian Redmond, and tonight we're going to do a show talking about the Nigerian brothers, aka what I've deemed them as the brothers. I wanted to first though talk real quick because I saw something a few minutes ago before I actually started the show up, and it's kind of like weird that this is going on. I'm going to be very surprised if this happens, but I will be surprised, but I won't. But the thing is they're talking about, and Donald Trump said that he's expected to be arrested on Tuesday. And I'm just like, it's kind of a good and bad thing. Number one, it's ridiculous for what they're trying to charge him with. Number two, one of the things that I am seeing now is that, and why I believe that they're pushing this whole January 6th was all Donald Trump fault, regardless of all of the footage that you see where it clearly shows that there was a conspiracy to do what was done. But whatever. It was really odd to me to think, like, why are they really harping on this? And I think it's because of the fact that they are very, very afraid of Donald Trump winning and coming back to complete his second term. And I believe that this is one of those things where they are literally trying to call out all stops. And they're just trying to do any and everything that they possibly can, not necessarily thinking that he's going to get locked up and thrown in jail. But I think they're just doing it just so they can try to smear his image as much as possible. And it's really crazy to see this and to see that they're going to call out all stops. And the thing is, I was like, well, why would they do this? But you got to look at it from this perspective. What else is there to talk about with Donald Trump that's negative? What else can you say that they haven't already said? They've talked about the porn star. They talked about the locker room talk. They talked about the racist jobs that he wouldn't give and how he was unfair to workers. They have literally talked about every negative thing that they possibly could, and none of it's worked. They talk about the impeachments, all of that stuff. But it's like now they literally have nothing left. Everything has been aired out. He literally has like no secret. They talked about the big. They tried to make a big stink about the classified documents that he had, and then turned right back around. And Joe Biden had the same type of stuff for the most part. So it's like they're pulling they're grasping at straws at this point, just trying to keep him or paint him in a negative light for the purpose of whoever is the running candidate, whoever is running against him. That person will be able to say, "Oh, well, what about this? Oh, well, what about that arrested you got arrested?" That's the only thing that they're trying to say. And it's like, it's crazy to see, like, wow, it really surprised me to just, after I thought about it, I said, man, this dude must really have a really good chance of winning, which is why they're doing this. They're talking about everything they possibly can and has ran out of stuff. So it's like, we really got to draw this January 6th thing out as long as we possibly can so that we can try to keep this negative press or this bad press or whatever on him. And it's like, it's kind of crazy just to see the lengths that they're going to in spite of the evidence that's consistently being leaked out and coming out. It's like, if you see any part of that footage, you're going to say, well, damn, well, how did they let that happen? And it's like, they let it happen because they kind of like wanted it to happen to make it to where it would be a bunch of negative fallout, and it's going to be something to where they want to make it to where, you know, you can't vote for him because you just got too much bad stuff going on. I think that's the last resort that they have, but I don't think that's going to work. I really don't. I don't think it's going to work, but it is what it is, I guess. What did Shrapnel say? He said, Brian, personally, I don't believe that it's going to demoralize the base. I think it's going to do the opposite. I think so, too, because I agree, because it's so weak. It's like not even, I mean, this stuff that they're doing and that they're talking about, this whole commission for January 6th, all of that, I get it, but it's really not like they don't really have a case. It's like with the impeachment. They didn't have a case, but they did it anyway to tie up the headlines and for bad negative press against Donald Trump. That's it. The Russian collusion. The report showed there was no collusion, but they still went forward with it. Why? Because they wanted to have some type of bad press. And it's like that's the media's doing, because the media is definitely in bed with the Democrats, and that's just what it is. The majority of media today, that's what it is. Because when they actually have something that is actually proven factual evidence, like Hunter Biden's laptop, they totally ignored it on purpose at the behest of the Biden family and his camp. But they totally ignored that. You had true, factual, hardcore, physical evidence that you could touch and say, hey, this is Hunter's laptop. But it's like, nope, we ain't gonna talk about that. And if you keep talking about it, we'll ban you. Because Amos Blade said, Key Blade says, I've been getting inundated. I think that's what I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know. With advertisements on the next mayor for Chicago, says Lightfoot has apparently been voted out. As a former Chicago resident, do you have any thought? I've been getting those calls too. I've gotten, I think, 2 calls for Paul Vallis, and was the other one? Was the other one Brandon Johnson? I can't remember, but I think so. But yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy. I hope. I don't really know, and I'm kind of still a little skeptical about both of these candidates because I don't really know nothing about Brandon Johnson, but I definitely know a little bit about Paul Vallis. And Paul Vallis, he ain't Lightfoot, but he ain't no knight in shining armor either. Paul Vallis used to be the head of Chicago. He used to be in charge of the Chicago public schools and did not do a good job. Went down to New Orleans, down in Louisiana, and did not do a good job. Why people would think that he can come back here and run the city of Chicago that's already in a bad state and don't even have a top cop now? I don't know. I don't know. So you said Brandon Johnson is a leftist who is in favor of defunding the police. See? So it's like, that's not going to be good. That's going to already tip the scales over to Vallis. And I'm just telling you, Vallis ain't no, he's not going to come and save Gotham. He's not the Dark Knight. He's just not. So I don't know how that's going to work out or what's going to happen from that, but I think it's going to be rough. I think the biggest thing that I wish Chicago would understand and would kind of like really consider a lot more than what they're, instead of playing the politics that make me feel good game, I really wish that the city of Chicago would really focus on saying, hey, I know y'all got all these political candidates y'all want to put in front of us, but we want somebody that's homegrown to be our mayor. That's all I'm saying. That I just think that is the biggest thing that that I think that we're missing in Chicago. It's like, y'all should be wanting y'all own. Y'all should be wanting somebody who's born and raised in the city, who literally cares about the city to some degree. It's like just picking somebody who seems popular or picking somebody who you think it seems like they gonna be cool. It's like, and that's why I couldn't understand why they would not vote for Willie Wilson. Well, I understand why they didn't, but it's like Willie should have been the mayor of Chicago. Period. He was the best candidate out of the candidates for 2 times running. Now he should have won this time, but he had a bad camp. I'm just gonna call it what it is. Willie had a bad camp. With Willie coming in, I think he came in 3rd or 4th place. Your team was terrible. I don't know if you didn't have enough money in your war chest or whatever the case may be, or maybe you shouldn't have brought all that gas you brought so early on, but he was just, I think he's the best candidate, but I just don't think that he is likable because of the way that he's painted in the city. It's like He's a damn good businessman. That's really what you need. Somebody who's a businessman and somebody who knows and loves the city to get things back on track. But he has a speech impediment, so there you go. But when you think about the dude in Pennsylvania who was damn near brain dead, had a stroke, they voted his ass in and he got in. I don't know. But yeah, he said Willie needs subtitles and a bouncing ball when he speaks on TV. Yes, he does. I mean, he just does not speak well, but I think that for somebody from a local government standpoint, I think that he would do a much better job than the people who are running now and the regime that's on its way out. But whatever. So I want to go ahead and I want to get into the story, and I want us to go ahead and review what's going on and watch this. For those of you who may not know, Jussie Smollett, the French actor, was basically found guilty for committing the crime of I forgot what the actual crime was that he committed, but he had found guilty basically because he lied and staged an attack on himself, saying that it was a bunch of white MAGA rednecks that came and not only put a noose around his neck, they beat him up and they poured bleach on him. And all of this is happening while it's literally negative 22 degrees outside at like 12 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And he was just going out to get him a sandwich from Subway. Yeah, pretty much. So the police, and shout out to the Chicago Police Department and the superintendent at that time, my man Eddie Johnson. He did his thing, and he played it right. He made the right moves. As far as just how they approached the investigation, how they used the media, how they leaked certain things to the media, how they then turned around and arrested the O.O. brothers. It was all very well done, and in a climate like it was when that happened, for them to be able to pull that off, that was absolutely an outstanding job. So shout out to CPD and how they played that, because it was good. But here's what happened, and let's go ahead and let's get into basically them talking about the story a little bit. Wait, there we go.
All right, it was only a year ago. Remember, actor Jussie Smollett was sentenced to 150 days in jail for faking a hate crime against himself in downtown Chicago. Now, that happened back in 2019. Now,
I forgot about fair use.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
All right.
Claimed that he was attacked on a freezing January night by two, quote, white supremacists wearing MAGA hats that shouted, "This is Trump country," and specifically targeted him because of his race and his sexual orientation. Of course, we now know that all of that was false. Smollett actually hired two of his associates to stage the attack, and they are now telling their story, or their side of the story, for the first time. In the new Fox Nation special, Anatomy of a Hoax, take a look at this.
So we got here with 10 minutes to spare, and we had to plan our escape route to survey the land. His building is actually right.
And so essentially what happened is that after all of this got found out, these guys are now telling their story and telling like what happened and how they actually like walking us through them actually like staging this whole thing. Is wild.
Here, right above the stairs that we're going to attack him at. We made sure we got there at 2 a.m. sharp.
On the dot.
On the dot. We had no phones because he did not want us to bring any phones. He said, so we don't lose them. I don't know if that's really the reason. That's him. Is that him?
That's that Nick.
It's that Nick.
Get that Nick.
Oh, he's moving fast. Come on, let's get him.
Get that Nick.
Let's get him. As we crossed the street, we said, hey, to get his attention.
Hey, Nick.
Hey. He turned around, looked at us, and that's when we started yelling the famous slurs he wanted us to yell. Hey.
Aren't you that Empire?
Empire fat Nick. it's MAGA country.
Yeah.
And then he said, what did you say to me? And then that's when I threw the first punch at him. And then I threw him to the ground. And after I threw him to the ground,
And everybody knows that when I first covered this, when this actually went out, when this actually came out, everybody, I mean, y'all know that I said this was bullshit. I didn't believe it just because of the simple fact, number one, it's 22, it's negative 22 below out there. 22 degrees below zero. Ain't nobody, and I mean nobody, the hardest of the hardest criminals in Chicago, ain't none of them going out when it's 22 below. Right, and that was a wind chill of negative 40. We talking there's a polar vortex going on. Polar vortex going on. And you got these two dudes that they're saying, two white guys are out up on the Gold Coast looking for a nigga, essentially. And they just so happen to stumble upon a gay nigga at that. So they didn't hit they didn't hit the trifecta, a gay celebrity black man. A gay black nigga and he's a celebrity. Like, wow, it just don't get no better than that. That's what they were looking for, and that's what they found. So what they're gonna do, we're gonna beat him up. We're gonna put a fake noose around his neck. We're gonna pour bleach on him, and then we're gonna tell him this is MAGA country. And yes, we're wearing MAGA baseball caps at 2 a.m. when it's negative 40 outside. Let me explain something to y'all. And I get the fact that how people, you know, you got your race hustlers and all that kind of shit out here. But the racism in Chicago, it's more so, it's covert racism. Ain't nobody gonna lean out no window and call you no nigga. They ain't gonna do that. They just won't. It's just not, it's not that kind of racism. It's the most segregated city in our country, and it's like that because everybody basically has their area and they stick to it and they stay in it. Now, are there people that don't want niggas in their neighborhoods? Absolutely. Mexicans don't, and neither do the whites. But the fact of the matter is, you can still go and travel about throughout that city, no problem. You ain't gonna hear of no major racial relations where you got some black dude getting called out, his name getting called a nigga because he was on the bus, because he was standing down on the Magnificent Mile, because he was at Saks Fifth Avenue. He went down to Neiman Marcus and some rich nigga leaned out the limousine and said, "Go home, nigga." That don't happen in Chicago. It ain't that kind of racism there. It's a whole different type. It's, we're gonna keep quiet, and when we see these blacks in our neighborhoods, we'll just call the police and say, "Hey, you need to stop them because they look suspicious." That's the kind of racism that they got going on. Right? It's like a passive-aggressive racism. It's an undercover racism. It ain't just loud and aggressive out in your face. No, it's just not like that.
he had no bruise. I wanted it to look more real. So then I threw him to the ground. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a noogie. So I went like this. Why did I do that? To give him a scar, to give him a mark, to make it look real. Like.
And you see that? Do you see that? Because that sure as hell didn't look like, that's not a punch. If he'd got punched in his eye, he'd have had a black eye, he'd have had a bruise on his eye, it'd have been swollen, red. It wouldn't have looked like that. A noogie. Just saying.
He really did get his ass beat.
All right, joining us now for their first live TV interview are those two brothers, Ola and Bola. Ashun
Bola and
Cairo.
Bola.
And
I just realized his hat does not say MAGA. It's MAGA, like Make Africa Great Again. I like it.
their attorney, Gloria Rodriguez. Great to see you. Wow. You ever think it would become this big?
No, we did not. Not in a million years, no, sir.
Okay.
And let me say this too. These two, the brothers, they full of shit too now. because they was with all this fuck shit because they were in hopes of trying to become they were actors and they was trying to become, get on the scene. They wanted to get their break, and they was thinking that Jussie Smollett could help them do that. But it's like at my thing with that is y'all were willing to go this far to try to drum up some attention, because that's all it came down to for Jussie and the brothers. They did all of that, and you did it, I guess, to try to get your name out there, to get your acting career off the ground. I get it. They paid you $3,500 or $4,000 or whatever the case it is. You're supposed to get $4,000 for it. But my thing is like, at what point do you say, well, let's not go as far as this whole MAGA thing. Let's just do it and just say it was a racially motivated crime. They could have got off with that a lot easier than trying to say, nope, it's specifically Trump supporters that did this to me. And yeah, we need to do something about this because these Trump supporters are something else. Like, yeah, they went too far. Having too much fun, Charlie Murphy.
So this thing begins to get into the public consciousness, and people are rightly, I mean, if that had really happened, I'd be angry. I think most people deplore racism. Most people deplore people that are anti-gay. They should mind their own damn business, in my view. And so all of a sudden this is viral and believed. What are you guys thinking?
Before I allow my brother to answer that question, I just first want to apologize to everyone in the audience, the country, and anyone who might have been affected by this directly. When we were asked to partake in this, we really didn't foresee the ramifications of what something like this could do to the country.
You're sorry you participated in it.
Yeah, we allowed our ambition to cloud our judgments.
And before you knew it, we realized that we had messed up, and we both said, uh-oh. But this is really something that they have done, and I agree that I don't think they thought it would get this big or this bad, and if you want to like weigh both of those. I don't think that they thought that this could happen, let alone that when it did, it was probably quite shocking, and they was kind of like, oh shit, we done really fucked up. And I think that that's one of the things where this is good for them to be able to come back and like apologize, because that's the thing that it tells the good story. You know what I'm saying? You're now on this redemption tour where you're trying to really tell the truth. And now you're trying to really, apologize for what you did, realizing the ramifications of what that did. And I get it. But they was chasing the bag, plain and simple. Like he said, his ambitions got way ahead of him, and they really both fucked up.
Paid?
It wasn't about the money.
Yeah, it was. Bullshit. What was it about for you?
$3,500.
The opportunity.
Opportunity to?
We were actors. So Jussie,
we are actors.
We are actors. And Jussie, right.
I'm acting as a talk show host.
You want to do a hoax today?
I'm hoping one day. Maybe I'll get there.
So Jussie was in a position where he could help us, because in the acting world, it's who you know, not what you know. So us helping him out would have helped us out.
Yeah. Well, you're the attorney. You take on this case, and it explodes. And you did a great job. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right? What was your initial instinct? Because you have clients, there might be legal jeopardy here. The whole world is watching. It gets tough in those moments.
You know what? I had been doing these kinds of crisis situations for 10 years by the time I had met the brothers. So my immediate thought wasn't, oh my God, this is a national spotlight case. My immediate thought was, oh my God, I have two innocent guys here that are being accused of doing this horrific hate crime. Yeah. And so my natural instinct really was to first, unlike a lot of the journalists that were out there reporting this, my instinct was to first get a handle on the facts. And that same night that I met them, I went by myself, had to cancel my plans with my wife and say, I got to go down to the scene of the crime. Right. And I looked around, and I just remember thinking, it is dark. It is laid out, and there's nobody out here. It's super safe. This is ridiculous how this would happen.
And this particular night, it was freezing. No.
And it's like, the thing is, too, for those of you that know the city, I mean, up until maybe, I would probably say the last couple of things that I've seen that has happened bad in this area, just like when you're talking about downtown, you're talking about the Gold Coast, aside from FBG Duck getting killed up there, and then the riots where they went and, and robbed Gucci or whatever it was, and they robbed some other store. Was it Gucci and Cartier or something like that? I don't know. Aside from those two incidents, hear me when I say this. I mean nothing. And I mean nothing ever as far as violent crime goes on the Gold Coast and in that downtown area of Chicago. It just doesn't happen. That's why when FBG Duck got killed and when them niggas raided the Gucci store, it was such a shock that the city had gotten that unsafe to where they were pulling capers downtown Chicago in the loop. It just didn't happen. That was just one of the things that just would not happen. And it was like the fact that it did, that was the, hey, look, this shit is bad. I don't give a damn what the media ain't saying or what the media is saying. This is bad. And that's what it came down to. But this is something where this kind of stuff don't happen. I've seen people walking their dogs at 2 o'clock in the morning up and down the street, sitting outside at 2 o'clock in the morning on the north side of Chicago and on the Gold Coast. They get to do whatever the hell they want to do. It's truly one of those areas where you're like, oh, yes, it's very safe. Just saying.
No criminal would even want to work that night, right?
Night, yeah, exactly.
On a cold night, they'll take the night off. I'll get back to work tomorrow night, stealing and robbing and killing, especially in Chicago. All right, so you go through this, and our audience was laughing because some of it's really funny. Maybe you're really good actors. That's part of it. But there is a sad part of it here because there is this impulse among people that they want to believe the worst in human beings, that people are racist and that Trump supporters are sexist and racist and homophobic and xenophobic, Islamophobic, transphobic. I mean, as a conservative, I'm called these names all the time. None of those allegations are true. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I think he created every man, woman, and child.
And it's like, it's one of those things to where I get it. You want to lump everybody into the same thing because if you're for Donald Trump or if you consider yourself to be conservative or if you vote Republican, then you're all these things that the far right is for. And that's like the furthest thing from the truth. It's like, it's not a thing to where I would, hey, I voted Republican, but that doesn't mean that I agree with every single thing that they got going on. It doesn't mean that. And we do the same thing with Democrat. You vote Democrat, then you definitely one of them liberals and all of that kind of stuff, and you go all the way to the far left with them. I wish that we could get to a place and have a safe space enough to where people can choose whoever it is that they party that they want to vote for, and just base it on the candidate as opposed to the party. I wish we could get to that point. Then you can literally challenge that person on their selection and the candidates that they picked and why they picked them, as opposed to just saying, you voted Republican, you a coon. You voted Republican, you a bootlegger. All right.
Earth. So that's where, people are saying, wow, you're demonizing a whole group of people. Have you gotten to know people now that are conservative and maybe realize that, wow, that could impact their lives? He hasn't, you're trying to let your brother cover for you.
Not only have we gotten to know people that were like that, our parents are pretty conservative, although they are Democrats, but in their thinking, they are conservative. And in turn, we are.
And he said something really, really poignant there. I think that people don't realize it, especially black people, we don't realize it. If you were to honestly put us in a political group, the majority of us would wind up being Republican. Because you just heard him say it. My parents are very conservative. It's like if you really think about all of the things, or the majority, we got more as black folks. We got more in common with traditional conservative Republicans than we do with radical leftist liberals. We do. We got way more in common with Republicans than that we do with Democrats. We just vote Democrat because we think the Democrat is for the working man and the Democrat is for black and brown people. And that's the shit they told us in the 70s and 80s, and we ain't let it go yet.
Conservative in a way.
We have conservative views.
We have conservative views, more conservative views than liberal views anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And
Well,
Sean, hard
yeah.
R,
Yeah.
Republican my whole life, proud of it. And some of the local papers, when I had ran for a local election, I had been running as a Republican for over a year, and they were still printing that I was a Democrat because I'm a Latina. And
Yeah.
I must be a
Next
token
time you run,
Democrat.
I want to support your campaign.
Thank
so
you,
come on this show.
Will do.
I'll tell you the best thing. Thank you for coming. I think people need to go to Fox Nation and watch this. It's really interesting. And the best thing that you both said is you apologized. And you know what I saw? Sincerity. Thank you for apologizing.
Yep, they did a good job, especially if they was acting. I'm just saying. They did a really good job. But I think that that's something that we really like. As far as when it comes to us in politics, we really need to consider like who we voting for, why we voting for them, and what we're gonna get out of and what we're gonna get from them if we do help them get into office. And it seems like we don't want to do that. We just want to talk. We want somebody that we can vote for that seems cool and will tell us what we want to hear to make us feel good. And that's pretty much it. We don't give a shit about nothing else, really. We might complain a little bit here and there, but we won't complain to the point where we're saying, hey, look, man, we're not voting for you this time. Nope. I mean, look at all of the stuff that Biden has done and all of the promises he gave in the beginning, especially the black folks that he has not came through on. And we are just now starting to think, man, I don't think I'm voting for Biden. I don't know. We just now starting to consider possibly not voting for him again if he runs. That's insane. That's insane, but it is what it is. I want to show just a little bit of the actual documentary, and just so you can see that, and then we're going to get on up out of here.
All right. Any other matters to come before the court today? All right. Defendants are asked for custody sheriff. Court is adjourned.
I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal, and I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
Can you believe that shit? Like I guess they just decided to say, look, man, you're gonna have to die on this hill. And he literally lied to the very end. And as he's walking out, he's talking about he's not suicidal. He's saying he's not suicidal, and he still is saying he didn't do this. But yeah, you did. And the fact that you did and you just wouldn't come clean with it makes it even worse. I thought that he could have came clean and said the good age-old excuse that works, especially for him being a black gay man. He could have just clearly came out and said that he's on drugs and he's going to get some help. And I think that all would have been forgiven, and he would probably be right back on track with his career. That's just my thought.
Jussie Smollett. Just step over. That's what you need.
Faking a hate crime, that's what it was.
Take a small step this way. Perfect.
Jussie Smollett arrested. Police declared that he was released. He may never serve the rest of his sentence. Wow.
Mr. Smollett, we're the ERT team, emergency response team. We handle all the high-profile guys. We had R. Kelly when he was here. You're in safe hands with the whole situation. Highly professional group of guys there.
Appreciate that. And then here's, looks like extra large pants. And also an extra large shirt.
Jussie Smollett, an actor who films the hit TV show Empire here in Chicago, told police he's the victim of a...
And that's my thing, too. I guess he was doing all of this because he didn't want to get written off the show for Empire. But my thing was this, and I'm just going to say what I believe to be true. I thought he was pretty talented. The fact that he could sing and the fact that he could play music and all that kind of stuff, and he was not a bad actor. I thought he would have done well if he did leave Empire and get in another role doing something. I didn't think that he would be like, oh, damn, like that was all he had, and him holding on to that, that's what really mattered. I get the money aspect, wanting to get that check. I totally understand that. But I thought that he was good of enough actor to where him getting written off of Empire was not like the worst thing that could happen to him. You know, it's like he's not. Well, I get it, Gava. He's not no fucking Denzel, but he ain't no Bo King Woodbine. I can tell you that. He ain't no fucking what's the chick from oh goddamn Anthony Carmelo Anthony's wife, ex-wife. He ain't no goddamn Lala. Have y'all seen the actors on BMF? That is some of the worst dialogue I have ever seen in my life. It's almost equivalent to a black exploitation film. BMF, the dialogue that's on that shit, it is horrible. And 50 Cent must really, really like Lala because he puts her motherfucking ass in every goddamn thing he make. He find a way. But she's a terrible actress. Terrible, as Charles Barkley would say. But whatever. But I think that this dude was talented enough to where he could maintain somewhat of a small career in Hollywood.
crime that took place near his Streeterville apartment.
Everybody immediately thought this is what Trump's America is like. You had people in MAGA hats chasing after a black man in the night, tying a rope around his neck, calling him racist slurs, calling him homophobic slurs.
The idea that a modestly prominent actor on a TV show gets jumped in the middle of a very cold night by two people yelling that it's MAGA time and putting a noose around his neck, you couldn't write that.
Like
better.
the thing,
everybody knows he
it's
was.
clobbering time. It's MAGA time. Right. Like that shit was just not believable at all.
Right. Am I supposed to pretend that that's up in the air?
When I heard that a black gay man had been attacked in Chicago by white Trump supporters, sounds about white to me.
Look, I've been a cop a long time, 3 decades. Most folks aren't going out at 2 in the morning to go to a Subway sandwich shop on the coldest night of the year.
Where I come from, we don't.
And you talking about Eddie, somebody who been in the police department for 25, 30 years. This nigga, he was a veteran.
Police, right? I'm like, I know it's true, because I don't believe anything police have to say at all, ever.
This went from a hate crime to not just a hate crime investigation. You know, I'll use a word you'll probably have to bleep out, called a shitstorm. It's raining shit.
The shitstorm is about to happen.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one.
I never saw a case become so politicized before from the get-go. I've never seen so many people hitch their wagon to a story to advance their agenda.
That case in Chicago is a disgrace to our nation.
It was just shocking to me how this thing became this combustible engine that just went pow.
The attack on Smollett was potentially orchestrated by the actor himself and involved 2 other men.
I knew there was going to be a media frenzy We need to catch the guys that perpetrated this crime.
Yep. You got the Super Mario Brothers, and now you have the Super Nigerian Brothers.
We were the ones that did it. Yeah. It was us.
Chicago Emergency Williams.
Listen to this.
Yes. Hello? Right. Yeah. What's going on? I just need the police to come by. I work for an artist. I don't really want to say his name, but some guys, I don't know, they jumped him or something like that.
Now look, I gotta say something about that response time, because them motherfuckers said 22 minutes later. That ain't a bad response time because it wasn't no immediate danger happening. But if that would have been me, man, it's too motherfucking cold to be going out there. That shit would have been like 44 minutes later. Ain't no way. I'm like, hey man, let's get over here. Nope. It's too goddamn cold. Can they meet us at the station? Would they mind getting into the back of the car and talking to us? Because I don't want to be out there in that motherfucking 40 below? No way.
He is like a star. Works on the show Empire, so I think he doesn't want that to be a big deal. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. And the thing that Bob is making for us kind of makes me emotional. They put a makeshift what you call the thing, a noose around his fucking neck. Sorry, you know.
And that was a warning sign right there. Like, who the fuck does that? When is the last time you ever heard of that? Yeah, man, they whooped this black guy's ass, man, down in Tupelo, Mississippi. For real, yeah. Then they put this makeshift noose around his neck. Like, man, ain't nobody doing that shit no more.
Live together? Or? No, I'm just his creative director. Okay.
Do you want to take it off or anything?
Yeah, I do. I just want y'all to see it.
I just want y'all to see it. Ain't got like a clothesline rope or some shit like that.
I don't want to be. Okay, so can we turn it off?
Yeah, you're giving us permission to shut it off?
Wow. And it's too late at night to be doing this shit. And that was pretty much like the gist of what happened. But there's a part with Eddie Johnson, which was pretty dope.
Freeze. Leaders are stressing the bitter cold still needs to be treated as lethal.
If you don't need to be outside at this time, don't go outside.
Oh, 9-finger ass wrong.
I was at City Hall along with countless other reporters from every news outlet, and the city was going to announce how it planned to deal with another night of record-setting temperatures. And as we're all sitting around, a reporter from WGN says, "Hey guys, you see this Jussie Smollett story?" The guy from Empire says he was attacked by two white supremacists wearing MAGA hats in Streeterville, carrying rope and bleach at 2:30 in the morning last night. And the scene would be the modern-day equivalent of...
And that's the other thing. Who actually whooped somebody's ass to pour bleach on them? Like, it was just... And that's why I was able to just... I said, I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to call bullshit, because there was just too much shit that didn't add up. Who whoops ass with a bottle of bleach? Who walks around looking to whoop ass with a makeshift noose, a bottle of bleach, and a stick of butter? Like, it's like, come on, man.
That scene in Airplane when all the reporters rush to the phone booth. All of us whip out our phones, and we all start reading the story. And we all kind of look at each other, and we're like, there's no way that happened. But nobody was going to say anything. This is a racial issue. We're not going to say anything.
And that is problematic to me. This is a racial thing. Those white boys, basically, what he was saying, basically, like, yeah, we white, and we from this news media outlet. We can't say nothing because we don't want it to make it look like we racist. When in all actuality, all they would have been just doing is just reporting what the truth is. And the truth would have been, man, this shit don't happen in the city. It's going to be hard to make us believe that this did. You're going to have some just overwhelming amount of accurate evidence.
In 2019, we were a few years.
And he covered up the Laquan McDonald shooting. Kid was shot 16 times by the police, and there was
Shout
a
out to
video.
Nikki. Thank you so much. I appreciate the
Emanuel
donation.
kept it under wraps so he could get elected.
This current state's attorney's executive leadership has been an unequivocal failure.
Kim Foxx seized upon all this and rode to victory.
This night belongs to Kim Foxx, who becomes the first African-American Cook County state's attorney.
Shot of the front page of, I believe, a TMZ article that showed that Jussie had been attacked. I went to my brother, ran to him, and was like, yo, mission accomplished. We did it. So we were like, good job. Now we've secured the payment of our $500.
And my thing was, what did they think was going to happen after this? They thought it was just going to go away and that was just going to be it. Well, you got another thing coming.
He owes us because he only wrote us a check of $3,500, and that was the day we were supposed to leave for Nigeria. Our trip to Nigeria was planned months in advance to go audition for a show called Big Brother Naija, which is a big show in Nigeria.
Things were on the up and up for us. Things were looking pretty good.
Winning.
I do my newscast that night, and I go home, and I call one of the public information.
Is again something racial need to city of Chicago, meet the Chicago, and the rest is history.
I think this is it.
I didn't say that I didn't believe Chicago.
I get a call from some detectives who I knew, who I'd worked with previously, and they wanted to know if they could come by and see me at the hotel. They're looking at all the video that there is in the neighborhood and trying to see what sort of leads they can generate. I spent 33 years of my life with the Chicago Police Department, and I culminated my career as the chief of detectives. After that, I was director of security at the Hyatt Hotel in Chicago. So they came by and said, you know, do you have any cameras on the outside? And sure enough, there it was.
Bing bong.
There's one cab at a cab stand. He's
Bing
sitting
bong.
on the east side of the street, and we see two men come along, and they jump into this cab. The cab drives off. Fortunately, there was a good angle. The video clearly displayed the cab's registration number, and the rest is history.
Yup.
When they brought that footage back in and pieced it together, and then I went down there and saw it, I'm like, uh-oh. This something ain't right with this.
He was like, something's definitely not right. I do not know why they're saying that these guys were white when you could clearly see the way that they walk is black.
When you've been a cop for so long, you get certain instincts about certain things. So I remember the detective that put that footage together. We all both thinking, that don't look like two white guys walking down the street. Sometimes they just have different gaits, and that's what we saw on this video. They were walking like black guys from the neighborhood. They really were. And you know, you have to spend a lot of time getting instinct for that kind of thing. I remember telling the chief of detectives, those are two black guys. Those are two black guys.
And that's the thing about what he did, and that's like what you literally can just call like having that hunch, good police work, whatever the case may be. It's like these guys were smart enough to look at the evidence and then to just see clearly, well, we really can't see their face, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it was white. Nope. We looked at this and we clearly could see these are some niggas that's doing this. These are some niggas that's did this. Hey, look, we need to be looking for some niggas. Ain't no white folks with no MAGA hats out here. These is niggas that did this. Call me a racist, call me prejudiced, call me whatever you want, but you can't call me a fucking liar. These is two niggas. I can see how they walk. I can see how they move. That's nigga movement. And that was the thing that definitely put them. It wasn't the defining moment, but it was the thing that put them in the right frame of mind so that they could actually find the right people to go after and actually solve the case. So they did a great job just by doing that and acknowledging the truths that they saw based on the evidence. Now, what are the odds of them being wrong and though it's really have been 2 white guys? I mean, you talking millions to 1 odds. But somebody who has been that well experienced and well versed in niggas, got their PhD in nigga, that's just one of the benefits of it. You know what it is and you know how to see that and how to acknowledge it and say, yep, that's what they did. That's exactly what that's what they did, and we know who that is.
You know, Eddie Johnson said he could tell in the footage that you guys were black, right?
Really? I feel like he's just saying that.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah,
Cap.
come on.
I call cap on that.
Boy, please, I call captain on that. Captain, I know what the fuck I'm doing on that. That's what I call on that. Captain, we got your ass is what the fuck I call that.
I call cap on that.
We was in character the whole time.
So you think you guys are believable?
I do not think these brothers know how bad of actors they really are. They are not very good. They have quite a few ways to go before they could consider themselves very good actors.
100%. Look at me.
Okay, first of all,
Images released from Chicago police don't show much detail, but they're the latest in the alleged hate crime against Empire star Jussie Smollett.
So the first photo that we put out, we actually had a better photo. So now, in full disclosure, I can say this. The reason why we wouldn't let them put it out was because it did have a red MAGA hat, red baseball cap. I can't remember if it said MAGA or not. But I didn't want people to focus on that, because it would cause more angst. So now that next day when everybody finds out about it, do you think we would have had some issues in the city? Yeah, we would have, because black people, minority folks, and the gay community would have been outraged. And you know, sometimes once that toothpaste gets out the tube, you can't put it back in there.
They were worried that if this was a racial attack, white people attacking Jussie Smollett, there could be social and political repercussions and violence. People were literally and seriously concerned about that at the time. In a town where we had the 1919 race riots, where a child was beaten to death and killed on the beach at 31st Street because he was black.
Yeah, boy.
Housing in Chicago.
We know, but we want everybody to know that this is a racist, brutal, anti-black, homophobic attack of hate violence.
Those MAGA hats and people who say "Make America Great" embody what terrorism is in current day America.
Jesus Christ.
I got the call from one of the PIOs saying, "You're not going to believe this. I just watched the surveillance video. I saw Smollett carrying a Subway sandwich after the supposed attack. He still had the rope around his neck." And I'm like, "Really? He was still carrying a sandwich? And that must have been one fucking great sandwich." And I'm like, "Can I tweet that?" And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." I said, "Can I use your name?" He's like, No, just say anonymous source." There were 3.
And yes, that was very accurate. 40 below, getting your ass whooped, getting a noose tied around your neck, and you're getting bleach put on you, and you still manage to hang on to your sandwich. I can't go for that. No can do.
No way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
How do you get
boy,
your
ain't no
ass
fucking
whooped
way,
like
boy.
that? Like he was saying he did, and go through all of that at 2 o'clock in the morning and still hang on to your sandwich. I'm sorry, but a Subway sandwich is just not that good. I'm sorry. But yeah, whatever.
TV journalists that the Chicago Police Department relied on to get the information out there. It was me, Charlie DeMar at CBS. I'm like, okay.
Me being let at the Troubadour before this happened. I was already set to DJ this show. This was not like this thing happened and then promoter booked him and put him at the Troubadour. This was already supposed to happen. When this happens, the ticket sales, poof, exploded. The promoter hits me up and says, "Hey, we're not gonna have you DJ because he wants to use his own DJ, but this thing is like oversold." So I just need you to just come and just lend a hand. So I was like, okay, yeah, cool, I could do that, no problem. I've done a ton of shows at the Troubadour. I have never, before a show, been sitting in that bar area, looked out the window and seen that many people, ever. There was a little bit of like, man, I hope nothing happens out here. Because I know a lot of right-wing people were like, F Jussie. You know, it was like a lot of that sort of, those kind of negative comments floating around in the atmosphere. Here he is doing a show at a very public place, middle of Los Angeles, a ton of media, right? It's just like a spectacle. And I was like, man, I hope nothing happens. So Jussie takes the stage, and it's a good show. Like he's doing his thing, the dude is talented. But during the middle of the show, and this is when I trusted my instincts. This is when I came to the realization that this is not real.
So he's already said he was skeptical, but this is what sealed the deal.
I was bruised, but my ribs were not cracked. They were not broken. I went to the doctor immediately. Frank Gatson drove me. I was not hospitalized.
Why does he feel the need to read this off of a paper? But whatever.
I'm listening, and I'm in there. My heart is in there. I'm like, this is what's up. Wow, we're getting it straight from the horse's mouth.
And above all, I fought the fuck back.
And it's like, as skeptical as what he doing as it is, he then just presses the envelope and goes way too far. And then
he then says,
I'm the gay Tupac.
How does someone who has had such a traumatic experience, who has suffered immensely, like he said, correlate themselves to being the gay Tupac? How? Why would you then equate yourself to the gay Tupac? You know why? Because that shit makes for good press, and that's exactly what he was doing.
And the crowd just goes crazy. They wanted to believe it. But in my mind, when he says that, it was a letdown. I knew it was false.
There you go.
I knew it was complete.
Basically what he's saying, for white people to translate, nigga, you lying. That's what he basically said.
False. I knew that didn't happen the minute he said that. And the reason why I knew that is because anyone who's been through that kind of trauma and that sort of situation would never describe it in those terms.
Exactly.
I've been robbed. I know people who have robbed people. I have never, ever, ever heard them describe that experience in any way close to that. Never. Never in my life. And that's when I knew.
That he was full of shit. I guess just to wrap it up, because there's no point like watching the rest of it, because it's pretty much just them uncovering what they did like he did in the first video. But I guess it just wrapping it up, my thing was this. It's like, we have this thing in the media to where these people are so they're so addicted to attention. And that addiction, it is so strong that they will do anything, even sabotage their own careers for the sake of trying to leverage the level of attention that they get against whatever it is that they want. Because all of this was done because he didn't want to get kicked off of a show that he got picked on. It was like, you got picked to be on the show. You was on the show for 2-3 seasons. It's like, shit changes. Shit happens. People will just eventually say, we tired of this motherfucking character. Let's kill it off and bring on somebody else. Happens all the time. Why you thought that this was going to be the end of your career and you had to do something as drastic as this is ridiculous. I get the brothers. They were just trying to come up. And that was probably the closest and biggest celebrity that they knew that could potentially help their career, which he was in a position where he could definitely give them a nudge here or there and help them along. But especially during that time, it's like he probably could have. But I understand why they did that. But for him to have thought for him to thought that thing out and thinking that this was the thing to do, that's the disturbing thing, because it just goes that there is no place, there is no low. We will go to the deepest depths of the Laurentian Sea for fucking attention. And that's disheartening, and it's sad, and it's quite troubling. Because when you see stories, and shout out to my man DJ Just J, when you see stories that DJ does, and when he's talking about what these parents are allowing to happen to their children, or what they're doing to their children, and in some cases them teaming up with their boyfriends at the time to do these things to their children, it's like they do this stuff, and then it's the attention that they get after that that makes it all worth it for them. They just keep doing it. And it's really, really disturbing to just see the lows that we will sink to, all for the sake of attention, so that we could try to leverage that to get the things that we want out of life. It's sad. It's sad. But that was pretty much what I wanted to do. I just wanted to cover just some of the highlights, and I wanted to try to keep the show short, stay like around about an hour, so I was glad I was able to do that. I'm glad, you know, that the old brothers are trying to capitalize off this, because they should, just like shit Jussie did. It's like whatever. But I do think that the biggest thing that I didn't like about this whole thing was the bullshit they put on it being a MAGA thing, about this being Trump supporters that did this. I think that we as a country need to move past the, hey, everything ain't Trump fault mentality, because that's pretty much where we're at. No matter what it is, no matter when it happened, it's like it's totally okay to try to find some shape, form, or fashion to pin the shit on Trump's campaign, to pin the shit on Trump's administration, or to pin the shit on Donald Trump, period. Whether it happened 2 days ago or whether it happened 25 years ago. I find that troubling. I think it's about time that we move the fuck on and look at the facts and the truth. Stop pinning your feelings on somebody that you just don't like, and because you feel a certain way about them, they're the worst motherfucker in the world. That's crazy. But I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I appreciate you all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please click that like button. Please, please, please. I don't know why I forgot to mention it. I should have been mentioning it several times. Make sure that you join the Rumble. The Rumble channel, that's where you know, I'm basically being banished and moved to. Yeah, because I think I'm on my second strike on my channel. Thank you, CJ. I think I'm on my second strike on my channel, so it's like I'm just looking at it like it's a matter of time. But I definitely want to make sure that you guys, you know, are able to still reach out and still able to see my content when that time ever does come and I actually can't do it on YouTube anymore. So I just want to thank you guys. Please go over to the Rumble. Please subscribe. Please share. Until next time, I love y'all. Peace. And I'm out. What's going on, everybody out there in the internet world? It's me, Brian Redmond, also known as the Relationship Rehab. And I need you to do two things. What are those two things? Subscribing to both my channels. I need you to go to the Relationship Rehab, subscribe to that channel, and then I need you to go to United Guns of America and go to that channel. Now you may be asking, why would I do that, Brian? Because it's two of the hottest channels on the internet. Come over there, give me your thoughts, give me your opinions, have conversations, because that's what it's all about. We talk about some of everything: politics, relationships, guns, law enforcement, community stuff. Anything that's happening, I'm willing to have a conversation about it. So come on over. You don't got nothing else to lose, and you ain't got nothing else to do. So come to my channel, subscribe ASAP, and join in on the fun. Twice the entertainment, 2 channels, twice the fun. Come on and have a funky good time with your boy. Peace, and I'm out.